Hi courageous ones, thank you so much for joining me for day 4 of the Vlogging Every Day in April challenge. Since you guys have gotten to know me a little bit in the past 3 days, I thought today would be a perfect day to let you know how it is that Cooking Up Adventures came to be. And I'm going to do this as I make a fresh batch of sofrito in my kitchen. And for those of you who don't know what it is, it's basically the foundational ingredient for Puerto Rican cooking that you put into beans, stews, and some meats. I'll put a link on the video that I made on how to make sofrito. This is what I'm going to be doing as I tell you the story of Cooking Up Adventures. I'm going to be chopping onions, peppers, garlic, and cilantro. Okay, so I'm going to try to chop without chopping off my fingers and tell you the story of how Cooking Up Adventures was born. I love travel, and I didn't know how much I loved travel until I went to Western Europe for 3 months after I graduated college. It was actually the zenith of my existence. I just couldn't believe how welcoming and open people were. I mean, I went there knowing no one. Before I left, people were calling me like, hey, if you want to spend Christmas with us, you can. Blew my mind. Traveling alone, it wasn't dangerous, it was actually wonderful. So that's what hooked me. Many years later, the next big trip I took was to go to Thailand. And I was going through a significant breakup, and one weekend I went rock climbing in New Paltz. I need to chop, but the story's so good. So I don't know if this is gonna happen, but I'm trying. Oh! Just kidding. I have to watch where I'm cutting. Yeah, see, this is another character flaw. I complicate. I could just tell you the story, but I want to cook and tell you the story, so it feels like you're in my kitchen, we're together, and I'm just sharing the story with a good friend. Screw the knife, I'm just gonna tear it apart, because basically it's all gonna go in a blender, so it doesn't have to be perfectly cut anyway. We're just gonna work this out, people. And I decided to go rock climbing one weekend in New Paltz in New York. I'm from New York, I'm from the Bronx, but that's where there's really good rock climbing in New York. I had hired a guide, and during a break he said that he was getting married and going for his honeymoon in Thailand, and he would be rock climbing there. And I was like, oh my God, that's so amazing, because I didn't know anyone who'd ever done that before. And he said he would be guiding. He'd be climbing. They had really good climbs in this island called Krabi. I just decided I would go. He said he would, be my guide there. I booked a trip for 3 weeks. Up until that point, the only Thai food I'd ever really had was pad Thai. And I kind of freaked out because I thought, am I really just gonna eat pad Thai for 3 weeks? Now I'd heard it was like the gateway to Asia, so it's kind of an easy place to go, so I felt confident that I was gonna be fine going by myself, except for the food. I get there and I stayed in Bangkok for about 3 days, which I loved, even though like Lonely Planet said, get in and out of there as quickly as you can, but I loved it. And the hotel I stayed at was called the Atlanta Hotel, and they had their own restaurant, which was lovely. The breakfasts were great, and the menu was in English and Thai, and they gave all the ingredients, so I knew what was in the food. So it was great. Stayed there 3 days, and then I was heading to a northern town called Chiang Mai. I started panicking again, because I'm like, I'm going to Chiang Mai, I don't know what the food is going to be like, because I knew the Atlanta had food like for Westerners. I was just concerned because I took an overnight train to Chiang Mai and found a cooking school. So I have the book, I pulled out the book because I saw it. It's called Chiang Mai Thai Cookery School. This was the school that I went to, and it was just like $25 a day. I went 2 days for like a whole day of cooking, and the thing that was totally awesome was that there were cooking stations for each of us, and they broke Thai food down for us. Like the herbs that are in Thai cooking, kaffir lime, shallots, tamarind, lemongrass, chilies. So with the cooking teacher, I expressed my trepidation about the fact that I'd only had pad Thai and how much better I feel now after having taken his class. I'm gonna shred some pepper. He said, well, I'm always free at restaurants to ask, like, leave out the lemongrass or leave out the chilies or whatever it is that I want. It made me feel so much better. Like the rest of those 3 weeks, I was gonna be fine. And I was. In fact, Thai food is like the best food, and the street food is amazing. It's one of the best cuisines in the world, actually. And the bonus was that now I had these recipes. In fact, in this book, I made a couple of them for my family. So I was able to bring back, you know, more than just some tchotchke or a t-shirt that people don't really appreciate, or, you know, these objects just collect dust. I was able to like literally bring back the flavor of where I was, and it was fun to have like my family literally ingest part of my trip that made me think, wouldn't it be great to show people a picky eater going to exotic places and, you know, being fine with both the language and the food. So there was a trip before that that really sealed the deal in terms of Cooking Up Adventures. I went to Italy, a town called Bari, with a significant other who we met his family for the very first time, like ever. Okay, I can't do this. Yeah, I'm not going to. The peppers are done and I'm done, and the rest is cilantro, and I will chop later. So we go to Bari and we meet his family that he's never met before. All we had was a photograph of a cousin that came to visit his family in New York City. Well, they saw the photo. They were like so happy they took us in. We were there with them for about 4 days. The third day, I was in their basement kitchen helping them cook. We were making some like mini calzones with like mozzarella, ricotta, and marinara sauce. But like, you know, like a pot sticker. Like every culture has fried dough with stuffing inside. One of those. And they were teaching me how to make this thing. They were letting me help them. I mean, I was pretty much like the 5-year-old, like doing it all wrong. The shape was wrong. I was spastic, but they didn't care. And then they started singing these songs, and I started singing along because they're really simple songs, and I speak a little Italian, but it was just about the camaraderie, just the ladies cooking, and I felt like so welcomed, like included in this tribe. I was just amazed that I had just met them 3 days prior, and this act of cooking in their kitchen was just so intimate and wonderful and made me feel like family. That's why I added the in the kitchen element, because it's something I always wanted to do, is live in another country. But I really feel like I'm in a country when I'm with the locals, when I'm in the supermarket or a bank. I just like doing those local things when I go to another country. So I just felt like the fastest way to connect with a family or with a culture would be with a family in their kitchen. And that's how Cookin Up Adventures was born. In a little southern town in Italy called Bari, and a little northern town in Thailand called Chiang Mai. Doing my best to bring it to you people. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you want to see me cook a dish from the Chiang Mai Thai Cookery School, please put that in the comments below and let me know if you want me to cook from course 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys tomorrow, and remember, keep living a better story. Ciao!